Picture this. It's a quiet Sunday morning. The two of you are sipping tea at the kitchen table, talking about where to travel next summer, or how you'll spend your afternoons once work is behind you. Sounds peaceful, right? But here's the surprising part. Those conversations about retirement aren't just about money. They may actually bring you closer as a couple, strengthen your bond, and even give your family a deeper sense of security. So, what really happens when you plan retirement together? When couples sit down to talk about retirement, the conversation may seem practical on the surface. Where to live, how much to spend, what lifestyle to aim for. But underneath those decisions lies something much more tender. These talks often create a bridge between partners, opening doors to feelings and dreams that may have been buried under years of routines and responsibilities. In the rush of careers, raising children, and keeping up with life, it's easy for couples to slip into a pattern where the conversation is mostly about logistics, bills, errands, and daily tasks. Retirement planning, however, nudges you to ask deeper questions. What does happiness look like for us in the next stage? How do we picture our days when the calendar isn't controlled by work schedules? When those questions come up, you're not just planning, you're sharing hopes, values, and visions that reflect who you really are. There's also something disarming about looking at the future together. Instead of feeling like two individuals carrying separate burdens, retirement planning can make you feel like a true team again. Imagine sitting with your partner and realizing that you both dream of simple afternoons in the garden or traveling to places you've talked about for years. Even if your visions don't match perfectly, the act of listening and finding common ground is powerful. It creates a sense of being seen and understood. Couples often discover that these conversations become less about financial charts and more about emotional connection. They're chances to laugh at old memories, reflect on the roads not taken, and get excited about new possibilities. Another layer of closeness comes from vulnerability. Talking about retirement means being honest about fears too. Fears of running out of money, fears of aging, or even the fear of becoming irrelevant. When a spouse opens up about those concerns, it invites the other to respond with empathy instead of judgment. That exchange builds trust. It shows that retirement isn't something to face alone. It's something you'll face side by side. Couples who go through this process often describe a renewed bond, almost like rediscovering each other after decades of busy life. And here's the gentle truth. The emotional connection that grows from these talks may matter more than the numbers on the spreadsheet. Because at the end of the day, a retirement plan isn't just a financial document. It's a love letter to the years ahead, written together, with shared dreams and promises woven into every line. Money often carries a heavy emotional weight in relationships, especially over the long run. Many couples know what it feels like when financial uncertainty hovers in the background, creating tension that spills into everyday life. Retirement planning, when approached together, has the potential to take away some of that stress and replace it with a sense of calm. It isn't about having every detail figured out perfectly, but about finding a shared rhythm so that neither partner feels they are carrying the burden alone. Think of it like sailing Zai. If both people are steering in opposite directions, the boat wobbles and no one feels safe. But when the sails are adjusted together, the ride becomes smoother, and both can enjoy the journey. Working as a team also helps soften disagreements before they grow into real conflicts. If one partner tends to be more cautious with money, while the other is more adventurous, talking openly about retirement gives space for compromise. Instead of one person secretly worrying about every expense while the other feels guilty for wanting to enjoy life, both sides get heard. They may decide on balanced approaches, like setting aside a fun fund for travel or hobbies, while keeping a portion safely tucked away. This balance doesn't just solve a financial problem, it nurtures respect and understanding. Harmony grows when each partner feels that their values and concerns are included in the plan. There's also comfort in transparency. When couples avoid talking about retirement, each person may silently wonder if they're on the same page. That silence can create doubt and anxiety. But when you sit down together and look at the numbers, no matter how modest or complex, they lose some of their power to intimidate. You both know what you're working with, what adjustments might be needed, and where you can relax. Even simple agreements, like deciding how to cover monthly costs or how often to visit the grandkids, may provide a feeling of order that reduces stress for both. Harmony also comes from the emotional reassurance that retirement is a shared responsibility. Instead of thinking, "What if I have to figure this out alone?" you realize, "We're in this together." That shift changes the tone of the household. Instead of bickering over money or avoiding the subject entirely, couples can enjoy their days with more peace, knowing there's a roadmap in place. In that sense, planning together is not just a financial act. It's a way of protecting the emotional climate of the relationship, ensuring that the years ahead feel lighter, steadier, and more in sync. One of the most unexpected gifts of planning retirement together is the chance to bring old dreams back into focus. Life has a way of pushing personal desires to the side. Careers, raising children, paying mortgages, and handling day-to-day responsibilities often leave little room for those someday goals that couples once talked about in the early years. Retirement planning opens a natural space to dust off those forgotten ideas and ask, "What if we tried again?" It's not only about money. It's about giving yourselves permission to imagine, to dream, and to wonder what those next years could look like if you revisited the things that once lit you up. Sometimes these old dreams are big, like moving to a coastal town or starting a small family business. Other times they're simple, such as learning a musical instrument, traveling by train across the country, or taking an art class together. What matters is not whether they are grand or modest, but that they reconnect you to the spirit of possibility. In many ways, talking about retirement is like opening a box filled with old letters. You're reminded of who you were, what mattered to you, and how those early hopes can still shape your future. Revisiting dreams also offers a chance for couples to learn more about each other in a new stage of life. Perhaps one partner secretly always wanted to write a memoir or study history, while the other dreamed of teaching grandchildren how to cook traditional family recipes. These conversations bring surprises. They show that even after decades together, there are still fresh discoveries to be made. Planning retirement gives couples the stage to reveal and explore these long-held wishes, which in turn creates excitement and intimacy. It's also worth noting that not every dream has to be achieved in its original form. Maybe opening that cafe isn't realistic now, but hosting weekly coffee mornings for friends and neighbors could capture the same spirit. Maybe a world tour isn't possible, but weekend road trips or local adventures may provide that sense of exploration. The beauty of revisiting dreams in retirement is that you have the wisdom to adapt them into something achievable and meaningful. In the end, retirement planning becomes less about limiting choices and more about reigniting hope. By returning to old dreams together, couples not only plan financially, but also rediscover the joy of imagining side by side, creating a future that honors both where they've been and where they still want to go. When couples plan retirement together, one of the most meaningful outcomes is how their choices ripple beyond just the two of them and into the lives of their children and grandchildren. Retirement isn't only about financial security or leisure time. It's also about shaping the rhythms and traditions that families carry forward. By thinking intentionally, Couples may realize that they want their retirement years to include opportunities for gatherings, storytelling, and building rituals that future generations will remember long after. These traditions can become anchors, reminding everyone where they came from and what values matter most. For some couples, this might look like committing to host holiday dinners every year, knowing that their home can serve as the central gathering place. For others, it might be creating smaller but consistent moments, such as Sunday afternoon visits, yearly camping trips, or even setting aside time to cook a family recipe together. These gestures may seem simple, yet they weave threads of continuity across generations. Retirement planning gives couples the chance to discuss what kind of family culture they'd like to nurture and how to make space, financially and emotionally, for those gatherings to flourish. It's not always about money, but sometimes financial planning allows these traditions to happen more smoothly. A couple might decide to set aside a modest fund to help cover travel costs for family reunions, or they may prioritize investing in a home with a guest room so that children and grandchildren feel welcome to visit. Others may use retirement as the time to create family keepsakes, organizing photo albums, writing down stories, or recording recipes that have been passed down. These acts don't just preserve history, they also strengthen the bonds between generations in ways that are deeply personal. The beauty of building traditions during retirement is that it allows couples to leave behind something that isn't measured in dollars but in memories. Children and grandchildren may not remember the exact financial details of their parents' retirement, but they will remember the laughter at those dinners, the warmth of those rituals, and the feeling of belonging that came from them. Retirement planning becomes not just a technical exercise, but a way of asking, what do we want our family to hold on to? By approaching retirement with this mindset, couples can turn practical discussions into something soulful. They aren't only shaping their future, they are gifting their family with traditions that may last long after they're gone, ensuring that their presence is felt in every story retold and every gathering around the table. One of the surprising realizations that can come from planning retirement as a couple is that it doesn't always have to look equal to feel balanced. For many, there's an assumption that both partners should step into retirement at the same time, with the same activities, and with the same outlook. But in reality, couples are often happiest when they allow space for their differences. Unequal can actually work beautifully when it is chosen with intention and respect. Retirement, after all, isn't a one-size-fits-all season. It's a stage where individuality can shine alongside togetherness. For example, one partner might find deep fulfillment in continuing part-time work, either because they enjoy the challenge or because it gives them a sense of purpose. Meanwhile, the other partner may prefer to spend more time volunteering, exploring hobbies, or simply savoring slower mornings. At first glance, this might look uneven, but when both people feel supported, it becomes a balance of complementary roles. Rather than forcing identical paths, couples who embrace these differences often discover a new appreciation for what each person brings to the relationship. This flexibility can reduce unnecessary tension. Imagine the frustration if one partner felt pressured to retire before they were ready, or if the other felt guilty for wanting more leisure time. Allowing unequal choices frees both individuals from those expectations. It creates room for honesty. One can say, "I still want to work a few days a week," while the other can say, "I'd love to spend more time with the grandkids." Both perspectives are valid, and both can coexist under the same roof with mutual respect. Unequal may also lead to unexpected benefits for the family. The partner still working might contribute financially in a way that provides extra comfort, while the partner focused on family may enrich the household with traditions, caregiving, or creative projects. Instead of competing, these roles complement each other, weaving together a fuller, more textured retirement life. Couples often find that the variety of activities keeps conversations fresh, prevents boredom, and allows each person to grow in ways that would be impossible if both followed the exact same script. In the end, retirement isn't about matching step for step. It's about walking in the same direction, even if the pace is different. When couples let go of the myth of perfect equality, they open themselves to a more authentic partnership, one that celebrates individuality while still building a shared future. This kind of flexibility may be the key to harmony, reminding both partners that what matters most is not identical choices, but the love and respect that frame them. So, retirement planning as a couple is about far more than dollars and cents. It's about connection, harmony, rediscovered dreams, family traditions, and even learning that your paths can be different, yet beautifully complementary. What about you? Have you and your partner started dreaming about retirement together? Share your thoughts or stories in the comments. I'd love to hear how you imagine your next chapter. And if this video gave you something to think about, consider subscribing for more warm conversations about relationships, family, and retirement life.